Shalom Akim. Welcome to GMS Gals on the Streets. Want to give all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakak Badash, whom I worship. Double honor to the elder apostles, the great millstone, who taught me this word in sincerity and in truth. And salutations to all the Akim throughout the world that are speaking this word in sincerity and truth and are holding strong until the end. This is Elder Sakura, GMS New York camp, and yesterday I put up a quick video while I was driving dealing with, I named it 5G and the Elf World Order. And the reason why I named it that is because it's a little, I'm just messing around a little bit, but it's anywhere where you see movies about elves and having power and all that shit, all that represents the Illuminati, that classify themselves as a higher, stronger race over the people, that control the people. Some kind of mystical group. But this show is not about that. This show right here is about following up on the 5G system. Okay, the 5G system that they're putting in place. It's dealing with the mark of the beast. It's in other words, it's the technology that they're putting in place, and it's gonna link with the RFID chip and the technology that comes along with it to control the people. All right. Right now it'll be 5G. The next thing is 6G, 7G, and they're gonna keep on perfecting that beast technology. And so I found an article dealing with this 5G technology and how dangerous it is, because it's emitting radio frequencies at high levels. Already we got the 4G, 3G, 4G, and they say that emits that emits radio frequencies at a certain level that can harm you. So I'm gonna read the article that I got, and then I'm going to read a scripture, and as always, brothers, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, so that when I upload videos, you know the recent videos that I upload. Okay, and you can do follow-ups on this as well, because this is the technology that they coming with, and we should know about it. All right. So let me get the scripture real quick. Bear with me. I'm driving, getting ready to go to work. All right. So this article is from the Los Angeles Times, and it's called the title of the article is 5G technology dangerous? Early data shows a slight increase of tumors in male rats exposed to cell phone radiation. It shows a guy with the cell phone next to his ear, and this is with the current 4G system that they have. They saying that these cell phones expose radiation. To be honest, beside the cell phone, you're exposed to radiation, a certain amount of radiation, by lots of things beside the cell phone. Cell phone's one of them because we got it close to you, but a lot of this technology that's around you today emits some kind of radiation. You know. So I'm gonna read on. It says, as wireless companies prepare to launch the next generation of service, which that's 5G, there are new risks from radiation emitted by cell phones and the transmitters that carry the signals. Concerns about the potential harmful effects of radio frequency radiation have dogged mobile technology since the first brick-sized cell phones hit the market in the 1980s. Industry and federal officials have largely dismissed those fears, saying the radiation incidences of and deaths from brain cancer have shown little change in recent years, despite the explosion in cell phone usage they note. But the launch of super fast 5G technology over the next several years will dramatically increase the number of transmitters sending signals to cell phones and a host of new internet-enabled devices, including smart appliances and autonomous vehicles. And the move to the new technology comes after unsettling findings from a long-awaited federal government study of the cancer risk from cell phone use. National Toxicology Program researchers released preliminary data in May that showed small increases in tumors in male rats exposed to cell phone radiation. The rats were exposed to 9 hours of radiation daily, and in 10 minutes on, 10 minutes off, 10 minutes on, 10 minutes off intervals over their whole bodies for 2 years. The researchers found increased incidences of rare brain and heart tumors, starting at about the federally allowable level of cell phone radiation for brain exposure, with greater incidences at about 2 and 4 times those levels. Why, for instance, did only male rats show increased tumors or tumor rates and not females? Final results from the peer-reviewed study won't be released until at least the end of 2017. The study, which the American Cancer Society said marked a paradigm shift in our understanding of radiation and cancer risk, reignited effects of the potential harmful effects of cell phones on human health. The concerns are amplified by the explosive growth in the number of cell phone subscribers over the last 3 decades, and the increasing amount of time people are using mobile devices. Now, some experts and wireless safety advocates are calling for more research as the nation prepares to take the leap into a 5G world that promises to offer more and faster services. About steps concerned consumers can easily take to reduce their exposure to radio frequency radiation. I don't think it's clear that there are health risks, but it's also not clear that there are no health risks, said Lika Kifitz, an epidemiology professor at UCLA's Fielding School of Public Health, who has studied the health effects of cell phone use. The National Toxicology Program study was just an indicator that more and better research is needed, she said. Last month, the US became the first nation to allocate a large swath of airwaves for 5G. Yeah, because the government doesn't care about your health. You know, they'll compromise your health for this technology here. You know, because they have an agenda. They don't give a shit if people die of cancer because of this technology or not. They have their agenda to accomplish, man. You know, to fulfill their new world order. Okay, and they're running behind. They're running way behind on their new world order agenda. It was supposed to be accomplished by the year 2000. You know, and they're running way behind, man. You know what I'm saying? So now they're dying to bring in this technology, man, into fruition. All right, to expand their agenda. You know, those services can be available to consumers by 2020, offering transmission speeds at least 10 times faster than today's 4G. The Federal Communications Commission voted unanimously to allow wireless providers access to high-frequency airwaves that have had limited uses because they can't carry data very far. Technological advances have made it possible to expand consumer wireless services into those airwaves. But to use the spectrum, wireless companies will have to install thousands of small base stations, some just the size of smoke detectors, on utility poles and buildings to pass the signals along. The industry will spend about $56 billion to develop, test, and deploy 5G services in the US through 2025, according to IGR, a wireless market strategy consulting firm. There were about 308,000 wireless antenna on cell towers and buildings at the end of last year, double the number there were in 2002, according to CTIA, a leading wireless trade group. It's unclear how many smaller base stations would be needed for 5G service, but it's widely believed that there would need to be exponentially more because of the limited the distance the signals can travel. One researcher estimated a station would be needed for every 12 homes in a dense urban area. The prospect of more transmitters emitting radio frequency radiation, though at much lower levels than those coming from cell towers, has alarmed people concerned about the effects on humans. The move to 5G presents additional concerns because there will be more energy and signals traveling over the high frequency spectrum, and the smaller transmitters will be closer to where people live and work. There is a big concern with the previous technology, and it's just being made worse with 5G, said Kevin Motis, outreach director for the California Brain Tumor Association, who attended the FCC meeting and unsuccessfully attempted to ask officials about the health effects. These are microwave transmitters, and the closer you are to them, the more problems, he said. Desiree Jaworski, executive director of the Center for Safer Wireless, a nonprofit organization that educates the public about the potential hazards of wireless radiation, said 5G signals would be harder for people to avoid. Right now, you don't have to live next to a cell tower if you're concerned about it. If you're concerned about it, you can move away, she said. But once they have these cell antennas everywhere, you won't be able to do that. The FCC shares responsibility for the safety of cell phones with the Food and Drug Administration and sets maximum allowable levels for safe exposure to radiofrequency radiation, known as the specific absorption rate, that devices sold in the US must not exceed. The FCC also regulates the exposures from base stations transmitting wireless signals. In 2013, the FCC opened a formal inquiry into whether it needed to reassess its exposure limits. That proceeding remains open, the agency said. Scientific evidence always informs FCC rules on this matter, said spokesman Neil Grace. We will continue to follow all recommendations from federal health and safety experts, including whether the FCC should modify its current policies and radio frequency exposure limits. The FDA said it believes that the weight of scientific evidence does not show an association between exposure to radio frequency from cell phones and adverse health outcomes, but that agency said more research is needed. In 2011, the International Agency for Research on Cancer, which is part of the World Health Organization, classified cell phone radiation as possibly carcinogenic to humans. There are 288 other agents with the classification, including many chemicals as well as talc-based body powder and traditional Asian pickled vegetables. The organization said research at the time was limited, and it did not classify the radio frequency radiation as cancer-causing or probably cancer-causing. CTIA said the health of Americans is its paramount concern at the industry, and that the industry follows the guidance of government experts. The FCC has determined that all wireless phones legally sold in the United States are safe. The organization said in a written statement, the FCC is developing guidance for the industry on compliance with radiation safety standards of phones and other equipment that would use 5G airwaves, CTIA said. The wireless organization said the larger scientific community would consider the National Toxicology Program findings in the context of other studies. The $25 million study was requested by the FDA in 1999 and was conducted using second-generation cell phone technology. The preliminary findings were released because we felt like this was concerning enough, because there was maybe some type of linkage between cell phone radiation and cancer, said Michael Wide, the project leader for the National Toxicology Program's radio frequency studies. Wide said it was up to regulators to take the study's findings and determine if safety standards needed to be adjusted. We're mostly the first step in the risk identification process, he said. Joel M. Moskowitz, director of the Center for Family and Community Health at UC Berkeley's School of Public Health, said there needs to be more federal funding to study the possible radiation risk. And you know, I'm on my way to work. Brothers could read more on this article. I'm just gonna bring out 2 Corinthians, the second chapter and the 11th verse, right? Start the 9th verse, right? It says, "For to this end also did I write, that I might know the proof of you, whether ye be obedient in all things. To whom ye forgive anything, I forgive also. For if I forgave anything, to whom I forgave it, for your sakes forgave I it. in the person of Yahushua, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. All right, and that goes into, the plotting and scheming of Satan and his demons to make a brother go off, of course, in the faith. And is also going into his devices. All right, dealing with Esau, okay, the Edomites, and their devices that they're putting in place to bring on their demonic agenda, okay, this new world order agenda, this 5G technology, the RFID chip, to bringing about the mark of the beast, to control the people, to incarcerate the people, and make everyone slaves. All right, this is what it's heading to. So with that, I'm gonna say shalom. This is Ella Sakaran signing off. Shalom.